Let's go through what happened last night a bit. It was pretty wild. I was sleeping and I woke up to the news that PirateSoftware was kicked from the guild, from Onlyfangs. As of right now, I don't know what he's going to be planning with World of Warcraft, if he's going to continue playing, because he's not in the guild anymore. I don't know if there's going to be a redemption arc where he will have a conversation with people. I believe there's a way back, but I'm not sure if he's going to be interested in it. So I woke up to the news that Soda Popping had kicked Pirate from the guild. And I want to kind of talk about what happened, also to people that don't know the background. So I've got a little bit of background. It all started with this moment where PirateSoftware was playing with 4 other people in a dungeon in World of Warcraft Classic in hardcore. Basically, they overpulled the pack, which means they were taking on more NPCs than they wanted to. And the call was made to run. They all started running, and Pirate ran much faster than everyone else. And he ended up not really helping, and 2 people died in-game. So basically, the breakdown is, he had some suboptimal play that was selfish. He said there was nothing he could have done. He then said afterwards, we all made mistakes, everyone played poorly, and the shot caller said run. The shot caller then, by the way, said turn around and fight, but Pirate did not turn around and fought. So it was a bit selective interpretation. And then he said, from my perspective, I didn't feel like I could save anyone else with the resources I had left, even with mana gem and rope cooldowns. Since the call to run was made, I followed the call and I got out as quickly as possible. Now, many people have chipped in on this, but it is factually wrong. People are pointing out that this is wrong, even if you add the from my perspective part. He's had enough time to reflect now, and most people would forgive him if he said, I have seen since that I could have easily done more, but I wasn't able to do so at the time. He also said he got out as quickly as possible, which isn't entirely true. He turned around a few times, looked at his party, waited, thought, and then continued running and blinking and not helping. So what ended up happening is that the healer and the druid died. The druid pulled some packs here. Then there were too many NPCs, they all ran. Then the druid pulled more patrol here, and the healer and the druid ended up dying. So that's kind of the breakdown of that. We have that on video as well, just so you're kind of caught up. But before we go on, I would like to talk about who is PirateSoftware. He's a very popular YouTuber and Twitch streamer. He gets up to 20,000 concurrent viewers on Twitch, and he has almost 3 million subscribers on YouTube. I also want to point out that if you are one of the people that has sent in-game death threats or out of game to PirateSoftware or his moderators, you need to stop. You've completely lost the plot. We are talking about 2 things here. We're talking about underperformance in game and a lack of accountability in recognizing that he underperformed. You're completely missing the point if you took this to 11, and you're not doing anyone any favor. You're not helping the people that are critiquing PirateSoftware for lying, and you're not helping PirateSoftware at all. By now, PirateSoftware is also a victim of a hate campaign. And this is a terrible thing. I wish that upon nobody. At the same time, people on the other side are also a little bit the victim of something much, much smaller, because this started very small. Snoopy and Sarah lost their character, which has anywhere from 150 to 500 hours of investment of time. They are partially rewarded for it because of the fun, the friends they made along the way, and the content they made on Twitch and YouTube. But they've still lost their character, and this can have an impact, because many streamers are looking to get a level 60 character by the time that the raid starts in World of Warcraft, and now their character is dead and they may not be able to make it. And from the perspective of skillful critics, PirateSoftware could have done a lot more to save them. In fact, it was mostly on his shoulders to do more, and he didn't do this. That is what the criticism is about, and anyone that has co-opted this narrative and then went to go hate on Pirate and brought up things that happened 20 years ago and brought up the fact that, any other part of him, like personal attacks, all of this is completely lost the plot, and it is a bad thing, right? In the end, you'll realize that this thing isn't just about the game, though. It is about life. Onlyfangs is a guild that I think has been a massive success, in a sense that it is a creation of a content guild that has brought hundreds of people together, and we've all made lots of friends through the game, which has been an incredible experience, and it's been very fun. And I think it's been very valuable because it has made many introverts like myself come out of their shell, the shell of their own game, the shell of their own community, and has connected with many other streamers throughout Onlyfangs. It is not easy to get this many people together to play one game, and World of Warcraft is a great conduit for it because it is not such a necessarily sweaty high skill game like League of Legends or Warcraft 3. And because of that, we're able to connect with people from all walks of life. And I, for one, think that's incredible. Which is why I thought it was really disappointing that PirateSoftware said that Onlyfangs is a guild built on hate. Verbatim. Anyway, this isn't just about the game, it's about life. It's not even just about pirates, but it's about everyone that knows a type of PirateSoftware in their life. Someone that's lying about little things all the time and gets triggered from that and doesn't see any justice being done there. Even though I didn't like the way that Yamato, one of PirateSoftware's dungeon members in that same party on that fateful day on Sunday, I didn't like the way that he pointed out what PirateSoftware was doing, and I reacted very strongly against that because Yamato started talking trash about how Pirates was playing cowardly during the Moment Supreme, where Sarah and Snoopy ended up losing their character that had hundreds of hours of investment. Nonetheless, because of it, it has actually revealed that PirateSoftware doesn't seem to want to take accountability at all for something that could have easily been dispelled in its fury with a simple "my bad, I'm sorry, I underperformed, upon further inspection I could have done more, and either I was a little malicious because I was mad that I was being flamed and I was mad about the vibes, that's why I chose not to do anything, I acted selfishly, or I was scared. Anything would have done if you just said my bad." If any one of us creators would not have covered this topic at all, we would have done a disservice to the justified anger that people felt that he let other people die that are supposed to be his loyal guildmates. But we are criticizing an act that he did and a behavior that he had. We are not calling for hate. I'm not calling for hate. And if you're hating in that way, you're deranged and you're actually hurting everyone in this. So yes, Pirate has become a victim now, but I would also like to talk about where he went wrong and where he could have stopped this. A little bit of background information. Our rating is scheduled for 1st of February, where 40 players will be selected in the Onlyfangs guild to play together to do Molten Core. Everyone is trying to get their level 60 character, and once you have it, you're trying to get good gear, which is called BIS or pre-BIS, which aka means finding the best items per slot that you can have, best in slot. And Pirate played Mage. He does so in an okay fashion, but he's not particularly skillful, despite playing WoW for 20 years. This is totally fine. This is fine. It is completely acceptable and fine for a player to not reach for, or to not reach, or to not aim for optimum skill level, or even near optimum skill level. It is not the responsibility of a game player to play in the best possible way. This is called instrumental play, trying to be as efficient as you can. Arguably, trying to be as efficient as you can be in a game takes some of the fun out of it sometimes. Some people claim it took some of the fun out of WoW Classic, that it was better in 2K4 or 5. I can't comment because I didn't play. So on Sunday, Pirate underperformed big time, but he never admitted that he could have done more. And this rubs people the wrong way because it's demonstrably wrong. So let's go through some of the posts that we have here. This is the moment where it actually happened.
Yeah, well, I got shield wall. God damn it.
Run.
Just run. Can you target dummy?
I can target dummy, yeah. Should I do it?
Just kill the massive. Yeah, target dummy. Kill the massives.
No.
Aussie, are you fine? Any grenades,
I got
anything?
Stand. You can just
Heal him.
Yeah, you just heal me. Just come back a little bit.
Okay, so this is where we are at. If you look at my paint drawing here. Basically, they started fighting over here. Then Yamato called run. Ozzy, the tank, who normally is the shot caller, also said run, which means all 5 people will kite backwards. I thought when someone says run, it means you will run and save yourself. But when we said run in the dungeon that I was in, we did all protect each other. Apparently, there is a difference between run or run. If you say run many times, you will seek cover, hide, and save yourself. But after the initial run call, a stand your ground and fight was called here. This is because the threat was not as big anymore. After all the mobs got staggered and were basically positioned like so, here and here and here and here and here and so on, there was one mob that could not be slowed down, this one right here, but all these could be slowed down, and it would have been Pirate's job to slow all these with a rank 1 Blizzard. The reason I'm showing this is because it is demonstrably wrong that he couldn't have done more. He wasted a lot of mana on high-level spells. Now, this has been talked about ad nauseum, but I just kind of wanted to give the background.
Snuppy, just run.
I can help a lot. Yep.
Pirate, why are you walking, bro?
What are you talking about? Why am I walking? Look at my mana.
This is savageable. Come on, man.
Do you see my mana? What am I supposed to do for you?
Just kill them.
So a mana, rank 1 Blizzard costs 300 mana. He has 700. And he wasted about 4,500 mana while he was running away. Two max level Blizzards, which is 1,200 each. That's 2,400. About 4 Blinks, which is like another 1,600 mana. An Ice Barrier. And then he also had extra about 1,200 mana here. So theoretically, he could have used over 6,000 mana. And Frost Nova only cost like 100 plus. Blizzard level 1 cost like 300. He has it on his hotbar right here. As far as I know, it's not hotkeyed, but he could still left mouse click it.
The Mastiffs, one shot. Okay, we
more on the way, more on the way.
Now. The Mastiffs can be Ice Novas.
The idea that somehow the mage is going to save you from every scenario is not real. Go back and look at where my mana was during that. There's not shit I could have done.
So this is kind of what kicks everything off, right? It's not the fact that he ran. It's not the fact that he was cowardly and let people die and that he could have done more, because nobody's expecting him to be a world top player. But in actually reviewing the footage, which we are doing ad nauseum because he keeps lying, that's why we keep looking at it. And then you can see that it is wrong. Now, I know what it can look like. A lot of people will be like, oh, it's just a game. Or why do you guys keep harping on about this? And let's say there's a criticism and there is a denial that the criticism is valid by someone else. But let's say the criticism is valid. You could just let it go and you can let the person get away with it. That's not usually how humans do things, right? If I say you left a dirty dish in the sink, you could have just put it in the dishwasher. And then you say, anyone could have put that dish in the dishwasher. It could be you, it could be me, which, by the way, I've been guilty of before. That was me not taking accountability, right? Anyone could put it. If it's so easy, you do it. But this is annoying because it is a denial of accountability, right? It is not a large sin, but it is a denial of accountability that creates irritation. So people understandably bring up the fact that it is demonstrably wrong. He could have done all these things had he been better or more willing to do them, right? So that's kind of the issue with that. But then he goes on record saying nobody could have done anything more, and that's not true. Much later,
I am often gaslighted by management and somehow always yielding to the pressure and admitting to a mistake I never did.
Okay.
I was super impressed with how you stood your ground against relentless bullshit thrown at you from other toxic communities.
Yep.
You did nothing wrong, you knew it, and you stood your ground. How I can build up the same level of...
At this point, because I've started questioning his authenticity, I've started questioning his ability to tell the truth, I almost wonder if he donated this to himself, which is wild. Because generally, I had respect for Pirate, and I was defending him because Yamato's tone was so accusatory that I definitely thought, well, I wouldn't give an inch either in that moment. But I thought with retrospect, with perspective, Pirate would say something like, yeah, I've seen other people show that more could be done, but in the moment I wasn't capable. Still, it would be fine. Listen to it again, it's bait. Oh.
I am often gaslighted by management and somehow always yielding to the pressure and admitting to a mistake I never did.
Okay.
I was super impressed with how you stood your ground against relentless bullshit thrown at you from other toxic communities.
Yep.
You did nothing wrong, you knew it, and you stood your ground. How I can build up the same level of mental resilience like you.
No, this could actually be a supporter. It could be troll, but it could be serious. I think it's a genuine dono, and it could even be. I mean, look, I'm not saying he donated it to himself. I'm saying that because of his pattern of lying about little facts, which is very irritating, I'm now starting to suspect that.
I think the biggest thing, man, is...
Which, by the way, would never happen if he hadn't lied so many times.
Is a lot of people will cave because they feel like caving is going to make the ridicule and bullshit stop. It doesn't. If you know that you are correct, if you feel that you're right in the way that you do things, just own it.
And that's a pity because he was not correct. He was not correct. He could have very safely from a distance. I only played WoW for 2 months, but I know that you can safely from a distance use Blizzard to slow down the mobs that were behind the CC immune boss.
I think it soured the way that I feel about many of the creators inside of this, because there's a number of them that either weren't there to see stuff happen and made a snap decision about the entire situation, or are currently publicly stating that they're farming it for drama because it boosts their viewership. And that shows me that it's a lot of disingenuous bad actors in there. At the same time, I've met some really cool people through this that are actually fantastic.
So he met cool people through Onlyfangs, but then later on he says that Onlyfangs is built on hate, which is sad, because I'm trying to be fair in the criticism of him, in the sense that I think that he's not being truthful about what he could have done in the dungeon, and he's not shown a lot of empathy for the two people that lost their characters, Snoopy and Sarah. But I feel like when he tries to deflect and redirect the criticism, he chooses to put us all on the same lump. Because if OnlyFangs is built on hate, then I'm built on hate. And if everyone has a toxic community, then I have a toxic community. But I, just like him, he has a positive community as well. Just like him, I also don't like to build a community on hate and rage bait and so on. So I have valid criticism, but it is being swamped under the most extreme points. Now, the problem is, if you make something that is worth criticism and people critique you, does it mean that when you get a death threat, that all the other criticism can no longer be voiced? That's what I'm wondering. And in my opinion, just because somebody does a death threat, that doesn't mean that everyone is no longer ever allowed to talk about anything. I think that sets a very bad precedent for many reasons. First of all, it gives the death threat way more power than it should have. I think the police should be involved, and death threats are ridiculous, and I think they're very scary. And now PirateSoftware has become a victim, which I find extremely regrettable. These death threats have been shown. He has shown receipts, and so they are real. They're really written to him, and I hope by God that none of them are like with any serious follow-up. This is crazy. Nobody wants that. Like, this is mental. He has shown them, yeah, like in-game whispers where people are saying things like chair and rope and that kind of thing. It's psychotic. But let's say if I did something very terrible and you guys find out about it and you've critiqued me about it in a valid way, if I then do a false flag threat to myself, and that means all of you should shut up, then is that the end of it? Of your ability to critique me? Now, I'm not saying he false flagged this. I guarantee you he did not, right? I mean, I don't know, but like, there's no way, right? The thing is, that would be a carte blanche out of it. Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that that should happen.
Out of proportion. A little self-reflection and attitude and tone would go a long way. I gave a shit about that at first, and I don't give a shit about it at all now. Like, at this point, we've gotten thousands of bans in the chat. We have bots hitting the chat. We have real people hitting the chat. We've received hundreds of death threats. We've gotten 2 swatting attempts so far. And I really don't give a shit how people feel at this point. And I feel like anyone else in my position would feel the same. So the people who are trying to do this for content, the ones that want to do this as a content play, which is quite a lot of streamers, I don't have any respect for them, and I never will.
So everything we do is simultaneously content and not content. Everything we do. I hear this term bandied around a lot, right? I'm doing it for content, or I'm doing it for rage bait. Personally, I find adding for content or adding for rage bait to be kind of annoying, because it means that nothing should be taken seriously. But I think this is actually a serious matter. At least it was not that serious, but I was seriously critical of running away. And the funny thing is, it's also a little bit hypocritical, because Moon handled it quite well. Pirate looks at Moon's suboptimal play in a dungeon and called Moon not a good mage, and then said he was physically ill from watching his play, which is the same thing. It's like, it's being very critical of someone else's play, and it didn't go anywhere. Why didn't it go anywhere? Because Moon didn't deny it. He didn't deny it and say, I'm receiving undue hate from content farming streamers. There's nothing more that I could have done, etc.
Please tell me you've seen the new pirate clips on LSF claiming he will get all streamers who clowned on him banned from Twitch and WoW. Yep. I've seen it. You know, look, as a smaller streamer myself...
He's very big, by the way.
Can you imagine the vitriol and hate I had to put up with in my Twitch chat after a much bigger creator on Twitch said that it made him physically ill to watch my gameplay? It was terrible. Basic stuff.
When I did my first run as a healer in a dungeon, I read my YouTube comments and there were people saying, there was someone saying that it's the worst healing he had ever seen. And I read that and it irked me a little bit because I knew partially it's probably true, right? Because I'm at the beginning of my learning, I didn't get any coaching and I just did healing by myself. And it annoyed me a little bit, but I knew that I was bad. And that's the end of it. And it didn't go anywhere. It's the end of it. WoW players, I think the WoW community has some bad eggs, but I think by and large, people are very forgiving and people are very chill. People do bad plays all the time, and it's totally fine.
I didn't get this deep, stop feeding into it. All of the accounts that are messaging me are getting reported. There's a funny fact about this. I worked at Blizzard for 7 years. There's a whole lot of other people there that still know me, and all of these reports are going directly to them. They're well aware of the situation, and everybody who's messaging me, they're going to get read. It's kind of a dumbass thing to do, and I can't wait for all of them to get banned.
It has a little bit of that, my dad works at Blizzard, you're all going to get banned, which I've heard ever since the start of playing Warcraft 3 online. It's pretty much never been true. I don't think this is true too, but it's not really a big deal. Then he did a tweet today. This Onlyfangs stuff actually sucks. Lots of weird attack posts and people taking it too far. This tweet just came out like an hour ago. Putting everything in one place, washing my hands. To start, here's the response about the Dire Maul run. From my perspective, I didn't feel I could save anyone else with the resources I had left, even with mana gem and rope cooldowns. This is provably wrong. It's just not true from a technical perspective. Again, not a big deal, you suck at a video game, so what? Some of you guys have seen me play Elden Ring, Counter-Strike 2, you've seen me play my first WoW. Even if you've played for 20 years, it's fine. I'm actually getting actively worse at Warcraft 3, because guess what? The time that I was pro was 20 years ago. You make mistakes. It's okay. It's okay. Since the call to run was made, I followed the call and got out as quickly as possible. But he didn't though. He turned around a couple of times. He thought about helping and didn't. In every other instance where shit has hit the fan, the shot caller, which by the way, Yam wasn't the shot caller. He hijacked shot calling. Normally it's the tank. There isn't even a very clearly designated shot caller in World of Warcraft. Has called specific targets we locked and nobody died. If you call run, then everything after that is a shit show. Yamato pinned the entire thing on me despite everyone making mistakes and this rapidly spiraled into attacks both on and offline. The next few days was just tens of thousands of messages berating me. So I think berating is acceptable. I think death threats is not. Doxing and all kinds of shit. I mean, we shit every day. This happened on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Steam, Reddit, Discord, etc. Here are a few examples. Literally nothing you can do. Don't leave your house. We have people waiting for you. You're gonna get bleep, BlizzCon 2025. So this is deranged, right? Totally wrong. So what do you do in this situation? You start reporting it and banning people. We took the 10,000 plus attack accounts, reported them. So a lot of these people are just going to his chat and saying mana gem. Mana gem, blink blink for the door of light. This is funny. It is allowed to meme on someone that is very sensitive about being bad at a game. It is allowed to meme on people that are very sensitive about saying, sorry, I was a coward and I left everyone to die. Right? In the game. It's okay. Like, it's very funny. But that is not a hate brigade. It disrupted our broadcast on all platforms for the last 3 days and prevented our community from doing anything. That's a hate raid. I thought a hate raid is where you send an actual Twitch raid to someone and ask your community to shit on him, which many people have not done. By far and away, 99% plus people have not done that. This is people by themselves going over to meme on him in a bit. And he can ban whoever he wants, by the way. It's totally fine. You can ban everyone if you want. It needs to be reported. We set up automation to shut down the first message, last message shit. Despite all of this, I kept running with the guild and kept doing dungeons with people. Got my Ubers key, had runs that were fun, had some clutch moments as well. Then during a Ubers run, another creator in the group shit-talked me to the entire run, spoke many times about wanting to start a fight with me for content. Was this Maui Wowie? That's another lie. Maui Wowie, yes, but it's not true. What did he say? Grubby, I think this goes too far. I think your critique was valid. Don't go further. This is ridiculous. Stop where it was. Logical, not emotional. But it is emotional. People are annoyed that he keeps lying about little things. And people are allowed to speak their mind on it. He keeps exaggerating things, generalizing things, putting everything on the same lump. Like, just now he said that he likes making friends in Onlyfangs, and now he said all of this sucks. The idea that you shouldn't fight back to do anything to defend yourself is absurd. Absolutely do something, defend yourself, report, doesn't matter what size. This was a content guild, which to me meant we were crafting stories and narratives, not content at any cost, which this has clearly become. For those in the guild that have reached out to me after all this, thank you, it was fun running. So then this happened.
And a lot of it was from a rogue that was bitching the entire time about every goddamn thing that was going on except for his own play. But the mage is the one at fault because the mage is the hero class and the mage has to do everything.
I actually agree with that. I think rogue can do a little bit and mage can do more. Just like the warrior is responsible for dictating where the group walks, the mage is responsible for saving the group when shit hits the fan. That's just how it is. You don't like that character class, you don't like that responsibility, play another character. Now, I didn't know that before I started playing mage, but I know now, and you learn as you go. That's because I don't know everything.
Perfectly. Everyone in that played badly. The druid butt pulled an extra pack on the way out.
That's true.
The tank chose to take us into a bad route through the entirety of the dungeon.
True.
Pulled 2 packs and the boss at the same time.
That's not true. He pulled 1 pack, and the druid pulled the other pack by standing behind the ogre.
I, as the mage, went into that fight with 40% mana.
Not true. It was more than 40%.
Tried to use my resources, used them poorly.
True. And as far as I know, that's the first time that I heard him actually say that he used his resources poorly. That's the first time I've heard him say it after 3 days of saying there was nothing else I or anyone else could have done. And this is me with a tinfoil hat a little bit. Look, there's always a favorable and an unfavorable interpretation of what someone is saying. And the more that I've seen him lie about little things, the less favorable my interpretation of his admission is. I've seen other streamers say that he maliciously withheld and wasted mana when running away to prove that he had nothing left to save people in order to let them die. I cannot with confidence say that he did that. But if he did, then this admission now would basically be the first time that he admits he played poorly and would, by admitting it, deflect away from the malice allegations. I can see how tactfully, if you say, all right, after 3 days of denying it, it's true. I did play this poorly. I used my mana poorly. And why is he now admitting it for the first time when the malice argument has been brought up? Because it is a softer allegation to accept than malice, and he wants to redirect away from it. That's me thinking the worst. I really hope it's not true. I like to think it's not true, and maybe it really isn't true. Maybe he really is just playing newbie there, which again is fine. All he needed to say at any point in the last 4 days is not saying Onlyfangs is a guild built on hate. I'm going to report everyone. Of course, he should report everyone that's unhinged, but not report someone like me, for instance. I'm not wishing any hate on him. I don't even hate him. I would still have a conversation with him if I met him. I think it would be quite interesting, actually, to see what he's like, right? From personal experience. But all he needed to say, 2 people lost their character. I have since learned that Mage could have done more because the hyenas were slowable with the blizzard. And as much as I feel like I shouldn't say anything now because I feel like I'll just make it worse, because if I give an inch, you'll take a mile, I'm just going to try it out because it is the truth. Mage could have done more. I could have done more. I used my resources poorly. Sorry, these characters died. he would have taken out 95% of the energy that people have had. He has built this up into a massive Barbara Streisand-esque effect, and there's not a single viewer or streamer that could have removed the energy of the movement of people calling him out on his little lies, generalizations, and twists. Only he could have stopped this. No one else could have stopped it. Even if Soda had said, everybody stop talking about it now, it would still come out, because it's the internet. It's both the best and the worst of the internet. I couldn't stop thinking about it too, because it really bothers me that every time he has a characterization of the situation, it is untrue in little ways. And in ways that serve him. And I think that's just really annoying. It makes him look like he's on the spectrum of narcissism. Now, I don't have a diagnosis. I'm not saying it's definitely like that. And I also believe there should be a chance for a second chance for him. Now, you may say he's already had that because it's been day after day after day. I still don't want him to be cancelled. I still don't want him to be harassed. But I do think there's a way back. I think he does need a break. That's why I think it's good that Soda Popping kicked him from the guild. I think now, within the next day or two, after we've all, basically vented our feelings about this, we can start to move on and focus on other things again. And I think by this weekend, it's Wednesday today, by this weekend, we won't be talking about it as much anymore, except there'll be some memes like, I have 300 enchanting, I don't deserve to die, you die for me instead, or blink to the door of light. This is funny and this should be allowed. I'm not going to ban or time out for it either. I will ban out for personal attacks or hate towards him, right? But if you criticize him and his play or his reaction, I think that's valid. And I hope you will hold me equally accountable if I ever get in this situation. Now, I don't think I'll be in this situation because when I play bad, I'll say, my bad. And when I do something naughty, like when I stole strength stat items from Zaryu in order to vex him, I also had a cheeky smile. And I also admitted it. And I was trolling a bit. Yes, that's content trolling. And, Zaryu got me back a couple of times good as well, where he points out that I'm nearly dying. And it's like, yo, what's up? What's going on? And yeah, sometimes I get into a bit of a fight with someone, like with Peo last night, but we solved it together as well, because none of us are beyond saying, hey, my bad. And that's why this got so big. That's why this is not about just a game. We are not being crazy unreasonable to talk about it. We are talking about it, most of us, reasonably. And I think he wants it to die down because I think his ego cannot accept either that he said something wrong or played something wrong. And there is a way where he can learn from that. He needs some break. That's why I think it's good that he got guild kicked. And then hopefully we can welcome him back into another season of Onlyfangs if he wants to. I would understand if he doesn't. Or maybe we can all have positive experiences with him in the future. I really do hope for that. And there should be a way back for that as well. What's this? Oh yeah, and this is a reenactment by my friend Death Row. Let's end on a funny note. Before I show this, some of you may not have seen this yet. Before I show this, let's see. Is there anything else I want to say about all this? Yeah. I want to read you the message of how Pirate got guild kicked, which I read when I woke up. Soda Popping, quote unquote. Yes, I made the decision to kick from the guild Pirate. I felt a large majority of people in the guild felt uncomfortable playing or being around him, and all that drama that surrounded him at this point. Even though some people may not have felt that way, a lot did. And after seeing some clips today from him quadrupling down 4 question marks, or I don't know what number we're on at this point, I think I'm making the right decision, but still I feel bad. Try to just let this whole thing slide into forgetfulness and move on. In my opinion, stay safe, gamers. I think Soda could have added a little bit more to that tweet, to that Discord message. Basically the fact that Pirate said that Onlyfangs is a guild built on hate. I think that's very disrespectful towards, especially Soda Popping, but also to all of us. And I don't think that is true at all. I know that's not true. I think by and large it's 100% positive. And people have done worse things than Pirate, like Sequisha cheating several times. And he got guild kicked as well. But it never got as big as this because in the end, all the cards were on the table and Pirate was keeping some not on the table. I think it is good for both the guild and for Pirate that Soda kicked him. I do wonder why Pirate didn't leave before he got kicked. In my opinion, he was in a mental state where it would be best for him to leave. Perhaps he wanted to be kicked by soda popping instead, so that he would be more the victim and not the one that left and quit. That's just me like thinking about it. I'm not saying that's the truth or not, but in the end, I think Soda made the right call with this, and we will move on eventually. And this is me kind of trying to add closure to it. And like I said, let's end on a funny note. This is Death Row, aka Gifted Subs, playing Mage together with Snoopy, who is Druid, who was one of the 2 people that died in the dungeon with Pirate. They're doing a boss level 21 in, I believe it's called Wailing Caverns. This boss hits pretty hard and is known kind of as a tank killer. But if you all work together as 5, then surely the tank is not going to die. Let's check it out.
Keep pumping, keep pumping. Use mana pots if we have here.
That's Snoopy.
JP, where's
Yes,
where's
yes.
Speed
Oh, there's Sarah as well.
Where is he?
We can also kite him out like towards the end as well, yeah?
We're good.
Yeah.
I'm pausing this.
Yeah, I know. Are you guys good? Because I'm
Yo,
home.
where are you, man? I can't.
There's the
Why are
blizzard.
you grayed out from me?
I'm home, bro.
I am
What?
home. I'm actually home.
Just-
He can die.
Yes, yes. Taunting for a moment.
You can die. I'm home.
I can pot. I can pot. Healing potion. I can't heal potion and pot. I can't heal potion and pot.
No.
Please, anything. Kill the boss. No way.
The silence. The silence.
Oh no.
So basically, Gifted Sub / Death Row, he walked away as if he is Pirate. He didn't do anything anymore. He didn't help. The tank ended up dying. I think it was not meant to actually end up in a death. He even did the 1 second channel of a blizzard that achieved nothing and blew his mana. Came back, tried to DPS, but it wasn't enough. And Snoopy died to the final hit before the boss died. As far as I know, Gifted Subs killed his own character right after this out of guilt, you know? Like, he probably really feels sorry for it. But he's kind of deranged, Death Row. Like, I mean, I like him, but he's reckless, man. Like, he's a big risk taker. And this was, like, honestly really freaking funny. He shouldn't have killed the guy's char, though. But, I mean, shit, man. They leveled back together up again? All right, good. All right, guys. That's the end of my speech about this.